Hello, and welcome back. My name is Sir Joust, and today we're going to be talking about some Fortnite information, specifically the Survive the Storm patch or update coming through here on Wednesday. It was going to be coming out today, but they had to push it back about 24 hours because some glitch. Basically, you'd win, you beat the storm, you'd be like, ah, fuck yeah, and then right before the game ends, you crash. The whole game crashes, so you'd leave. Apparently you still get your items, so if that does happen to you guys still, you do get your items, but they didn't want to release that because it was happening to like 3/4 of the players, which is no bueno, you know what I mean? If you guys want to get straight into the action, you don't really want to hear about the next like week or so of this channel, go to that timestamp and it'll bring you right to the juice, the meat, the gravy, if you will. But for those of you guys sticking around, I actually have a question and I need you guys to answer in the comments below. So I have access to the public test environment, which means I've been able to play the Survive the Storm missions. I can see all of the new updates, experiment with the UI. What do you guys want to see first? I have a bunch of videos recorded and I don't want to release them all at once, but I want to kind of give you guys what you desire. So if you're interested in seeing something specifically, like I was thinking, I mean, if you guys don't know the Mutant storms, right? They bring like buffs and debuffs to your player. Do you guys want an in-depth on all of those, or would you like, you know, everything and anything UI changes, because they did a whole bunch to the UI, or do you guys just want to see best strategy for Survive the Storm? It's really up to you. I just want to hear what you guys are suggesting down in the comments below. All right, and now that everybody is back, let's get into the new update and everything that basically the dev stream went over. The whole thing was like really long. It was like 2 hours, so if you guys didn't watch it all, don't worry, I did, and boom, you can't see it, I made a shit ton of notes. So I'm going to cover basically everything I think is important. This will be a long video, I apologize, but I promise it's going to be worth it. So starting off, we have this mysterious crash. Zach was talking about it, and basically 3/4 of the player base, after completing Survive the Storm winning, would crash and like still get their loot, but it's super unsatisfying to like beat the game and then everything crashes and you have to you know, and then you don't have anything, you know what I mean? Again, if you guys have that experience in game, know that you're still getting your stuff. It's just not coming up on screen and being like, ah, look, it's so pretty, you know what I mean? They also kind of like asked for our help, I guess. So if anything happens in the game, they really want us to be using the feedback tool that they have provided in the game. Apparently a lot of people aren't using it. So if you see something like a floating box or, you know, a husk is acting really weird, make sure you report that as like a bug. Because they're really trying to perfect this game for the future. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Recovery llamas, right? If you guys don't know what that is. So when you receive llamas in game, you're not getting all of your items. Every single person has this issue. I don't know what it is, but like 1 or 2 items fall off for whatever reason. We don't receive them. They don't know why it happened, but they finally figured it out. So when you log in, you're going to get your like monthly, I can't remember the name, but it's like the 1 month pack. Basically, we receive a lot of like a people's llama, a weapons llama, and then some other goodies. With that, you're also going to get all of your recovery llamas. For example, I'm like, what, level 27 or something, and I had 12 recovery llamas. So I'm sure you guys have quite a few waiting for you, and each one of those will have 1 item in them. So if you guys are confused as to why you're opening 1 item llamas, that's why. So a really big and the first thing I noticed in the game is the UI changes. Okay, so these are very minuscule, but what they did is they added in it's like 3 little bars up here. You press escape to get there on the keyboard, maybe start on a console, but they changed the way the party is shown. Before it was just them and their power level. Now it's each player and how their specific stats are impacting you. It's getting very technical, which I like, but at the same time, a lot of people are going to look at it and be like, I don't know what I'm looking at. So again, if you guys have questions on that, definitely put it in the comments below. I'll be sure to make a video on it. Overall, the UI changes look so sleek. I'm really liking them. I'm hoping that they kind of move forward with that direction and make it a less simplistic game, add more nuances to maximize yourself, if that makes any sense. So they said there was going to be an addition of 24 or 25 quests, which is so sweet. The quests reward anything from legendary weapons to a mythic survivor, all the way to like storm tickets, so you can buy more llamas for these hydraulic weapons. And if you guys don't know anything about like hydraulic weapons or the new survivors or heroes, boom, there's a card up there. Definitely go check out that video. I basically go over some of the really basic stuff about Survive the Storm. For those of you guys who have built up a fortress in Canny Valley, they have confirmed they are not resetting that place, okay? It looks really junky, it's really bizarre, but when you load in, you're gonna have all these new assets basically inside of your base. It's gonna be really bizarre, and if you wanna break those down, you can, or you can take some pretty sweet pictures and be like, hey, my game's broken as fuck. So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's talk Survive the Storm and the specific mission that everybody's here for. So the way it sits right now, you can have a minimum of 3 days, 3 nights, or 14 days, 14 nights, also known as a fortnight. Aha, they're so clever. And basically, you load in and you have progressing days getting harder and harder and harder. The husks, the enemy husks, will level up with every single day. And from what I've seen, it actually looks pretty hard. So definitely prepare yourselves. Don't go into this like, oh yeah, I could solo it, because you're gonna get curb stomped. And that's no fun. Nobody likes going into the game and getting their jaw on a curb and then stomped. You know what I mean? One thing to kind of counteract the fact that you will be dying a lot is you don't lose any durability on your weapons on death. So make sure you guys are really keeping your eyes, your little peepers open and watching for those respawns, because, I mean, once you use up your 3 respawns, you're done. So if you use them all up in the first night, well, you're kind of screwed. So make sure you call out to your team and say, hey, I need a revive ASAP, because that'll save you, and there's like no penalty. So Darren Sugg, who I don't believe was playing, he was just kind of sitting next to Zach. Zach was the one playing, had mentioned there was something called a Iron Marathon, which they were thinking about implementing later. And basically you start with nothing. I think that's like super hard mode, like to the max. That sounds insane. I don't know if that means you don't have any schematics or anything. They didn't elaborate on it. I just thought it was an interesting kind of direction the game could have gone. Don't worry, you start with everything you got. There is a new enemy. They called it the Shielder. Really lame name, if you ask me. But basically, it's this little flying bug thing, and it shields one husk randomly, and it can be a random husk, like any husk, from a Cyclops to a normal husk to a Husky to the one that carries the propane, the Hank Hill husk, and a Smasher. It's ridiculous. So you have to kill that little tiny bug, which has a very small amount of health. It's very easy. You just have to hit it a couple times before you can even do any damage to the big thing. So keep your eyes open for those. They will destroy you. I mean, even on those little dudes, the ankle biters that run up to you, because your first reaction is, oh, I better shoot it. Well, it's all up in your face, moving really quick, and that little shielder's with it, like, with this beam of protection. Anyway, big pain. It looks cool. They said they're going to implement those pretty early in the game, so no matter where you are, you're probably going to be seeing them, even outside of Survive the Storm. So, hey, that sounds pretty sweet. And then finally, so if you went into the Survive the Storm wanting to just do 3 nights, but you're with the most baller team ever, you guys are absolutely annihilating. At the end of the mission, you guys can all vote on whether or not you want to continue. So if everybody votes yes, boom, it'll plop you right back in, and you'll go and just, I don't know how it works from there, in all honesty, but you can go up to 14 nights, even though you only asked originally for those 3. I think that's pretty sweet, because with a random group, you never really know how it works out. But the fact that if you do get that gold, that gem of a group, you can actually do all 14 nights without having to like message and be like, hey, add me, we'll team up, let's do this, yeah, pwn noobs. So that's pretty much all I can discuss for the Survive the Storm mission itself. There is quite a bit more. Gotta keep my mouth shut. That's fine. That's fine. Let's move on to Mutant Storms, which I know I said it requires its own video, and I'm going to make my own video on the Mutant Storms themselves, because they're unbelievable. But just going off of rewards, so, you know, in the missions, how you have your base rewards that you just get for any mission, well, Mutant Storms add additional rewards that you get, basically. And they're massive. They give you, like, for these, it's like 16 drops of rain, a bunch of Survivor XP, lightning in a bottle, just absolutely massive amounts of things that you normally can't find. Well, there's a catch. You can only do 10, I said it, 10 of these per day. That's still quite a bit. If you guys are doing 10 mutant missions a day, you're rocking it. You're farming with success. But along with that, I mean, it's not just a cakewalk. It's not more of the same. They're adding different little variants to the game. So for example, there's one that's called Powerful Shotguns, right? That's a pro. Obviously, your shotguns do more damage. Well, to bounce that back, there's this thing called empathy, and that's a debuff on your character. So if you are rocking it, you're never taking damage, but you have Joe Blow over here constantly dying, you're going to take a percentage of his damage. So if a husk hits him, does 100 damage, you're taking a percent to that, to your dome. So while you might be totally safe living it up in the base, if all 3 of your team is dying, you're going to die. Like, that's crazy, right? I didn't even think that was a thing, but they made it a thing, which is great. There's also something called sword ninjas. So ninjas do more damage specifically with their swords, compounded with like melee life leech, which is another buff that you would get. Is you leech life every time you use a melee attack. So you know, if you do 1,000 damage, you get 200 health, something like that. If you're doing extra damage as a sword ninja with that melee life leech, you're just like swording people up, never dying. It's ridiculous. But they could put something like exploding death burst on the enemy. So when the husks die, they explode. So you might be healing, but you're blowing up enemies. You're going to die if you're up in melee range. So it's just crazy. And these seem pretty random. There are a bunch. I was going to do a video on basically all of those, what you should do in each situation, stuff like that. If that's something you guys are interested, hey, go in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. I don't want this video to get too long. I feel like it's already very long. So I'm going to cut it right there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Felt like you learned something. If I missed something and you're sitting there just like, you never talked about it, jump in the comments and tell me about it. I'll love the comment, put the little heart thingy next to it, so it brings it to the top and more people can see it. So if you guys are watching this right now and you're like, that was a good video, definitely check out the comments. There's all sorts of knowledge down there that just, I mean, it'll help you out, I promise. Now for all the subscribers, the people who come back every single day, wanting to watch the stream and stuff, first of all, thank you. But also, I had mentioned that I wanted to start streaming in the morning and making a video every day. That's hard. I still want to do that, but at my current situation, I can't yet. I'm not saying it's not coming, but hopefully for the rest of the week I can do that, and we'll kind of gauge how impossible that was, because it's a lot. Especially with the daughter who likes squealing. But like, for example, right now, it's 2:12 a.m. Perfect time to record. And for whatever reason, I still got massive amounts of energy. Don't ask me why. I'm doing crack. Hey, but hey, seriously, okay, I'm not doing crack actually, so don't like quote me on that. Drugs are bad. But hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. You are what makes this Sir Joust world go round. So hey, thank you for your support. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're a subscriber, you're still sitting there like, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. Wait. If you aren't a subscriber, hit the, you know the drill, right? Every YouTuber says it. Please, do what your heart says. But hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by. And until next time, toodaloo.